Okay, everyone. Sorry, I was having trouble with my camera here turning off. All right, so I grabbed some tools now, and we're gonna see if I can kind of see what's going on here. I'm just wondering if these fittings are a little loose here. I have special wrenches for this stuff. These are called flare wrenches. You can use a standard wrench, but a flare wrench makes it a lot easier. Oh, that's tight. That is tight. Let's see if this one is tight. That one's a little bit loose. Yeah, it's a little bit loose. So that might have been the problem right there. Okay, that was a little bit loose, that fitting. Yeah. Anyways, I thank you for watching this. I'm sorry if you don't think the camera works the greatest. Okay. Good. I'm just hoping that's not leaking there. Alright, I gotta pause this for a moment. I'm sorry, I apologize. I need to pause the video. I will be right back. I need to find... need Allen wrench. And I'm not sure if I have an Allen wrench that size. I'm gonna have to look. Actually, you know what? I got a couple of Allen wrenches right here. It's something I did on my exercise machine. It'd be funny if this fits. It does fit. I don't have to go anywhere. I got an Allen wrench right here. The problem is, can I even get in there? This is a funny part about some of this stuff, the way some of this stuff is designed. They don't even want people that are mechanically inclined to work on certain things. That's just the way things are. Unfortunately, I'm just wondering if any of these are loose a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Somehow I gotta get into this one here. Ridiculous. Yeah, I am gonna have to pause the video, unfortunately. I'm sorry, I apologize. I have to see if I can find an Allen wrench socket that will fit in there. Alright, I'm back. So, I had to grab a ratchet, and this is an Allen head wrench socket. So that's an Allen head, but it's on a socket. And you know, it's so funny here because if you look at the room they give you, okay, I'm mechanically inclined. It's not to brag, it's just I'm mechanically inclined. So, there's one here where it's a wonder you can get into it because of the way the shroud is. And I want to check this one to see if it's a little bit loose. At the same time, I don't want to strip this. Yeah, and it is a bit loose. So, that might have been part of the problem right there. Now if I can get this socket off there, I got it off. Now, this other one here, Okay, thanks. You know, the video's not the greatest because I'm a one-man show, right? So you gotta forgive me for that. Apologize for that. Now, this one here is really gonna be a pain in the, you know what, to get into. Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah, that one was a bit loose too. So there's a gasket in here of the head. Okay, there's the cylinder head where the piston to make for the compressed air. That's how it compresses the air. It's kind of funny how these pancake ones work because I've never seen this before like this. This one's tight. A little bit loose. There we go. Alright, so that might solve that problem of some air coming out of this unit, because on this side it was at 150, it's max, and not even using it or having the slight leak, it dropped to 1, 5, 10, 15, so nearly 30 pounds of air lost just from that slight leak, which I suspect was from these here. These fittings were a little bit loose, and this cylinder head on the compressor where the piston travels back and forth, and that's what makes the compressed air into the tank here. Okay, into the bottom, the tank part, into the tank of the, let me show you here, sorry, this tank part here. Anyways, so with that stuff tightened up, actually this one here too, there's a fitting under here where it goes to the regulator. That's where your lines connect. I don't know if I got a big enough wrench for this. One thing I don't own is a pipe wrench. I despise pipe wrenches. Some people like pipe wrenches. I hate them. They chew at everything. I really don't like to do that. You're gonna have to forgive me for a moment. I gotta pause the video again. I gotta see if I can find a wrench that'll fit this. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Alright, so I had to grab some wrenches. Let's see here. What size this is. I don't know what size this is because this is the first time I've worked on one of these. Alright, it's not 1 1/8. 1 1/8 inch wrench. Maybe 1 1/16. See if I can see it. That's fitting. It's probably a metric wrench, and I don't have a metric wrench, unfortunately. Tighten that. This belt here too, I see this belt's got a bit of a tear in it here, a little crack. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that, I don't know if I should write that belt number down. It's actually a serpentine belt. It's like on a vehicle. Never knew that about these pancake compressors. Like I say, this is the first time I've ever had the cover off of one of these. Never ever had the cover off. Anyways, what I'm going to do with this is I guess I'm going to have to use something that I didn't want to have to use. Probably going to have to use a pair of channel locks because, yeah, it just doesn't want to fit, eh? That's 1 inch, and then this is 1 1/16, and this is just a little bit too. Yeah, I don't want to strip this. Let's see if that's gonna move still. That's not leaking there. So we're gonna have to see when I use this in the future if there's any leaks where this copper tube is. That's to do with the compressed air. The air from the piston gets pushed into the bottom part of this tank, into the bottom part of the tank here. So that these two fittings here, the two brass fittings where this copper tube is, if worse comes to worse, I will have to literally take these off, and I will put some plumber's tape on there, and I will probably even put some silicone on these fittings, and then drop the two nuts back down to hold this tube in place and to seal that, to make sure it's even this here, there's a gasket between the cylinder head where the piston travels back and forth inside to make the compressed air. There's a gasket in here, and this gasket, the gasket looks like it's in good shape, but I might have to take this right off and put some high heat silicone on that there to seal that. So I'm hoping now that all these things that I checked, that they were a little bit loose. Could have been like that from factory, don't know. Just could have been from using, but this compressor doesn't have, I would say maybe 200 hours on it in the over 7 years I've had it. Maybe it's a bit more than that, but it could just be from the vibration of the unit running itself. Sometimes that happens, stuff will come loose. Anyways, hopefully that solved that problem. I think I will know the next time I go to use this. Put this cover back on now. So losing any of these bolts. It's going to be a little stubborn there. I'm going to have to pop these bolts out, actually. That's what I'm going to do. I got a piece of cardboard down here where I'm just going to set the bolts out. Bolts are being a little bit stubborn at the moment. Just gonna have to be patient and work with it. I'll get it on there. It's just gonna take time. It's like anything. Take time. dropped in. Just gotta be patient and work with what you have. I don't have a million tools. Just trying to be resourceful with what tools I have to do what I gotta do. That's all I can do. Being a little bit stubborn to get them back in there. And that happens sometimes, and you gotta be patient with this because it's threading into plastic. So, there you go. You could hear it drop down, snap down. Alright. So now what I like to do is go around, kind of in a cross pattern. So, let's see, a little bit to this one. Like that. This one, like that. You don't have to really reef on these, over crank them, because it's just going into plastic. It's threading into plastic, so just be aware of that. Yeah, there'll probably be an update on this at a later time in the future. I'm just hoping now that those fittings and those Allen head bolts that I tightened up on the cylinder head of the compressor, where the piston travels up and down in the cylinder, the head of it, that cylinder head, the 4 bolts were a little bit loose. There was just a slight air leak and it's losing air, and I don't like that because then the unit's going to come on and run when it's sitting. It's just a waste. Waste of hydro. Waste of everything. No time to waste any of that stuff in today's world the way it is right now. That's not to be negative, that's just how things are. Anyways, I do really enjoy this kind of stuff. That's because I'm mechanically inclined. A lot of this I've learned through watching videos, watching other people do this kind of stuff in real life. Yeah, and I was blessed because I had an uncle that was an amazing mechanic. I learned stuff from him. And a gentleman that I've known where I grew up as kids in the neighborhood, his father was a professional mechanic at Ford Motor Company, and then he learned stuff from his father, and then when I was younger I used to help them as well, and I would learn stuff from them. And it's never too late to learn. We learn every day of our lives. Alright, now this is what I use. I got the Torx bit, and then I got this little extender here where that bit fits inside. It's magnetized. These are actually what I usually use on my cordless drill. Sorry, cordless impact gun, which is like a drill. Anyways, I'm using it with I found a socket that fits on the end of this extension, which in turn holds the Torx bit. And now I will begin to torque them down. Okay, and I do it in a cross pattern. That's just how I like to do things. That way it's on there evenly. like that. Torquing them down. Again, you don't have to go crazy on them because it's plastic. Just be aware of that. You'll be able to feel that it's tight. Just making sure here. It's good. Don't have to overkill on them. It is just a shroud cover. Alright. And then there's 3 over here. 3 extra ones over on this side here. These 3 what I'll do is I'll tighten the middle one first. A little bit like that. Jump over to this one. These 3 on this side, there's a bracket where your cord wraps around, the little cord from the compressor when you plug it in. Just slowly but surely tightening them down. Because they are in plastic. These ones almost feel like they're not really grabbing that good. Worst come to worst, you could put some JB Weld on the threads. The only thing is if you ever got to get back into it, it would kind of be a nightmare to... Maybe you could put some silicone on the threads. If something happened where the threads kind of got stripped a little bit in the plastic. And this one here doesn't feel like it's grabbing that good. That might have been like that from the factory when they put it together. Just don't want to strip it if I don't have to. Should be good. You know, I don't know, maybe I should turn this on and just see for the heck of it. Alright, sorry about the noise. Okay. That's a safety release on that. Now, I got that 1 1/16 inch wrench here. There's that big fitting. This is where it gives the air to the... I just don't want to cause it to leak in there. I really don't like that that's moving back and forth. Just being careful because I don't want to bust anything on this. I really don't want to have to replace this unit. This has been a great little unit, this unit. This one's the Mastercraft Maximum. I bought this in, it was either 2017 or 2018 when I bought this unit. So I've had it 6 or 7 years. One thing I don't like about these Pancake compressors is they are super loud. These things are loud. Very high decibel. That's where it's leaking. She's leaking there. Yeah, where they threaded it into the there's an aluminum fitting here. Tip this on its side somehow. Get this thing to stay still. Right here, there's a slight leak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get some RTV silicone and put it around that. I don't have a Q-tip. Usually I like to use a Q-tip. I don't have any Q-tips right now, which is frustrating. It's kind of a bummer. To extend my tripod up so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so anyways, I'm going to grab some silicone. Sorry I had to pause the video, I apologize. Anyways, I got some RTV silicone I found. Tube is old, getting it to come out a bit. Let's go, I'm going to seal that one fitting because it is leaking there. I'm just putting some on a piece of cardboard. And I'm going to try to seal this as best I can. It's not going to be easy to get back behind here because you're basically working blind. Let's see what I can do. I don't really care what it looks like, as long as it seals it. That's what I'm looking to try to seal that. There's a slight leak there, and they didn't, when they built it, they didn't this RTV silicone's really sticky right now. I might have to use my finger on this. It'll be fun getting it off afterwards, but I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm gonna have to go get a glove. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a glove. I'm gonna have to pause the video again. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my finger, since it's stupid Q-tip don't want to work the right way, I'm going to take my finger with some of this silicone. The problem with this silicone is it's very tacky. It's high tack, so that makes it kind of hard as well to get it around there to seal. Hopefully that's going to seal that up. That's the top of that fitting, and I'm going to go around this part here. I don't really care what it looks like. I'm just trying to seal that up so that there's no leak there. Hopefully that's got her sealed up. It's very hard, like I say, because it's a high-tack silicone, so Anyways, doesn't look the greatest. It's not what it looks like. So that fitting there, that's the fitting that goes to the where the regulator is, and then where you have your two connections to connect your air lines for whatever you're using, like your air tools. Anyways, I will let that dry, and I will find out the next time I use this unit that slight leak is gone from there. And hopefully it is. And that silicone also, that stuff is high heat. And these pancake compressors, they get, well, any compressor, they get hot, especially if you use them quite a bit. When it's running, they get warm. So that fitting will get hot, and that's another reason why I used this stuff here. Loctite Permatex sealant. It's what's used on automobiles. Anyways, and I'm gonna not even throw this glove away. I'm trying to get as much of the silicone off it as I can. These gloves are great. These are ones that I got at Costco a long time ago. And I will use this glove again for something. I'm not going to throw it out because it's still pretty good. You know, it's got a little bit of silicone. That's fine. That'll dry, and yeah, use her again. And that's another thing. We just got to use stuff as much as we can anymore, because cost, right? All right, so I hope I didn't confuse anyone on this video. This video was about the pancake compressor. If you have a pancake compressor and you hear some slight leakage, even when the unit's not running, so there could be some fittings that are a little bit loose. And then this one here, the way this fitting was down there, the one with the regulator, again, I'm probably repeating myself over and over. I apologize. So this fitting here, that one right there, it's a tube that goes from the tank up to your regulator. And there was I could hear a slight leak there still, even though the unit's not running. There's still some air in the tank. And that's probably will stop it now, I hope. And I'm just going to let it dry for a couple days. I will let that silicone cure, and it should be fine. I went around it with my finger. Now, always drain your tank.